What's up, everybody? It's Man of Low Moral Fiber here. My name's Luke, and in the most recent episode of my Overpower Level 8 Sniper Zero playthrough, I battled the Ancient Dragons of Destruction, which are the raid boss from the 4th campaign DLC, Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep. Now, I had a pretty good time against the dragons, as my best time ever, which was a minute and 29 seconds. But after fighting the dragons yesterday, I wanted to, or I guess it was 2 days ago now, I wanted to try to beat that time of a minute and 29. And so this will be a series of dragon kills I do, about 5 of them in fact. This first one I think ends up being approximately a minute and 37, so it's not incredibly good, but it's still a pretty good run. And the main difference I was trying to get to work out here in this particular set of runs is using the Shock Bone of the Ancients and a Shock Lyuda against Incinerator, because that should help take Incinerator out a little bit quicker. Now, this particular run didn't go great against Helianth, but then everything else I pulled down I think I do a little bit better against. And the dragons, if you're going for speedruns on them, can be rather uncooperative at times because their glitchy AI is sometimes very difficult to get around and stuff. And the order I like to take out the dragons in is Helianth, Brood, Boost, and then Incinerator last. Because Incinerator, he has that invulnerability stage, and it's just kind of a pain in the ass to try to deal with him while there are other dragons alive. And so it just happens to go pretty well against the rest of these dragons, but this run has a pretty damn good Incinerator run. And so I happen to get just a few rounds of ammunition there from killing that little dragon or Boost. I'm not sure which one dropped it, but that was able to allow me to signal Incinerator to land there. And so I do pick up that Shock Bone of the Ancients, and now I'm going to be able to kill Incinerator. And now, even if you have the quickest kills ever against Helianth, Brood, and Boost, you can still have some real bad luck against Incinerator and end up blowing your run that way if you're going for perfect speed. For some reason, Incinerator just glitched out on me here, and I was able to get some real good damage on Incinerator. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'll go ahead and show my gear and skill build here. Obviously, I was ending the fight with a Shock Bone of the Ancients, but I started with a Fire Bone of the Ancients. And so now we're going to be trying again. I believe this kill is approximately 1 minute and 31 seconds, so about 2 seconds over my record. And we'll see how this particular kill goes. I did all of these just, I think it was last night, because the Dragons fight is fairly entertaining, and I was just curious to see if I could beat my record. I know my record was pretty strong, but I did want to best it a little bit because I know it could be improved by using that Shock Bone of the Ancients against the last dragon. And so we're going to try to kill Helianth here. I think this goes a lot better than it went against Helianth in the last run, so that's pretty cool. As you can see, you can definitely kill Helianth in one landing there. After you kill Helianth, all of the dragons will definitely try to get some damage over time on you there, or just some damage in general. And this one actually works out great against Brood there. I was able to get her throwing her babies into a wall there, and so they all got bored and killed. And her babies are sometimes extremely aggravating when trying to get a quick run. Now, it would have been really nice to have the B bonus there against Boost while it was doing its level up mode, or gimmick, because that would have made it a lot easier to kill Incinerator here. And so far this run has gone great. Unfortunately, I did miss a critical hit there on Incinerator, so my stacks are going to tick down even quicker. Now, I'm looking at this footage here. I'm unsure why I decided to run all the way out in here, but the main problem with this run is that I forgot to stage my Shock Bone of the Ancients drop, and I did realize that, and it was really disappointing for me, because otherwise this run had gone splendidly so far. But the non-elemental Lyuda is just, or a Shock Bone, or a Shock Lyuda without the Shock Bone, is just not as powerful as I could otherwise achieve if I had actually managed to put that Shock Bone down. In any way, though, that is still a really good run there at about 1 minute and 31 seconds. That's very, very close to my record, obviously. So, just going to stand here and gather some money. Obviously, the Dragons fight is great for gaining money. And during these particular runs I was doing, I did find an amount of legendaries as well, so that's pretty cool. We'll go ahead and signal the dragons to land again here. This run's going to be about 1 minute and 30 seconds, according to my rough estimates. And in this run, you can see that I did have that Shock Bone of the Ancients on the ground. So it doesn't go quite as swimmingly against all of these other dragons, if I remember correctly. But it does go great once we have that Shockbone of the Ancients on, and that's why these two runs end up being about the same time. So I do manage to kill Helianth in one magazine there, which is definitely good, but I did take a lot of damage before Brood came down. And I noticed when I was doing these runs, getting Brood to land and not taking damage before Brood lands is one of the harder things. Luckily, I was somehow able to get my B shield back up before I was dealing damage to Brood, and so that enabled me to kill her pretty quickly. Now, I guess it goes pretty well here against Boost, but I should have had my gun reloaded there so that I could have used the B shield when it was holding its head especially still. So that's kind of where I make the mistake in this run. But still, a pretty solid run. Almost tied my record. Maybe have tied my record if you're really splitting hairs. I didn't do anything more than just a rough time estimate with Windows Media Player. So we'll go ahead and kill this little green scaly dragon here, and then we'll throw on the Shockbone of the Ancients. Now, I want to try to put some space between myself and Incinerator, but I still want to get Slag and Kunai on him. And then I just want to use the Shockbone and the Shock Lyuda and the Bee and just really wear down his health as quickly as possible. And so I hope this video is entertaining for those who like speedruns, but informative for those who maybe don't care about speedruns and are just looking for a more in-depth explanation of my strategy here while I'm farming these dragons. So I didn't realize that that run was quite as good as time as I thought it was going to be and stuff. Or it was a better time than I thought it was going to be, so I didn't show my gear and skill build at the end there. But it's the same as the rest of these, so you can keep that in mind. We'll go ahead and signal these dragons again. Now this is actually the first run that did beat my previous time. You'll notice I did go ahead and drop the Shockbone of the Ancients there. The total time on this kill ends up being about 1:28, which beats my old time by approximately a second. So that's pretty cool, and I was excited about that. But we'll see how this run goes. I don't remember the exact specifics of what all happened. Obviously, when you do a bunch of runs like this, they all begin to kind of run together in your head. So we'll go ahead and try to kill Helianth as quick as we can here. Did not manage to get Helianth killed in one magazine, so obviously we could have improved that. But we still managed to get Brood to land like pretty much immediately. And we threw our decoy right in front of her there so that all of those baby dragons are going to be kind of right in her way. And they gave us a killer bonus, which is handy. Gives us a little bit more critical hit, obviously. Now we have signaled Boost to land, but I think Boost may take a moment here. Oh, no, she came on down, so that was good of her. And now we'll go ahead and kill her. Now you can see when you have the B damage and the right distance to where you're getting the 3-pellet split right on Boost's head there, you're going to deal massive damage to her and kill her really quickly. So this is a really solid run. I just need to get out here and get my Shockbone of the Ancients on and stuff. Cool. And so, like I said, this did beat my previous record, which was pretty solid. It beat it by about a second. I really messed up there and backed into a panel on the stage that I didn't know was on fire. And so as a result of that, my B shield wasn't up, and we could have really done really well here if I hadn't done that. But still ends up being a really good run. And in this particular run, in the gear pile, I think I actually find a black hole. Now, I farmed these for approximately an hour and a half last night, killing them multiple times in the process. And I did find a black hole. I found a bouncing Bonnie. I think I also found a madhouse. And a couple other legendary items as well, including at least one more grenade. I think it was a leech. Anywho, the dragons do have a pretty solid drop rate. And obviously they drop a massive amount of iridium and cash as well. And so they're pretty good for farming. They are pretty enjoyable to take out and stuff. And we'll get to my best run here after I do show that the black hole did drop from these. Now, I could show you all the runs where some cruddier items dropped and everything, or some legendary items dropped, but it was cruddier times. And so I'll just show this one. This was my best time that happened to get a legendary to drop. As you can see, the black hole is right over there to our left, or now it's right in front of me. But still, the dragons do have pretty good drop rates, and then if you want, you can take the massive amount of iridium acquired, especially if you're playing with multiple players, and then go up and open all of the chests that are available in this map for a cost of iridium. And you can probably manage to get a legendary item, I don't know, 1 every 3 times that you run through all of those chests or something, maybe 1 in every 5. It happens fairly often for me. It's not the most common thing in the world, but it does happen. And so we'll be getting to the best run here in just a moment, but I do want to mention that this particular loot pool that the dragons have does contain the Omen, which is a very good TD or shotgun, and the Blockade, which is an excellent shield even at overpower levels. And so because of that, these dragons are pretty solid to farm. Now you can take a look at what my money was at when I killed those dragons and what it got to after I went around and collected all that money. And you will notice that the dragons do drop a significant amount of cash. Now this is my best run that I had, and it's kind of the one I ended on. I do remember to drop my shock bone of the ancients, and so that's really good. The total time on this ends up being about 1 minute and 23 seconds, which beats my old time by approximately 6 seconds. That might not sound like too much, but when you're only talking about a grand total of about 90 seconds or less, you know, closer to 80 seconds really, 6 seconds is a big deal. It's about 1/15, so that's pretty cool. And I think Helianth barely doesn't die in one magazine, and that's the real mistake here and shortcoming of this run. But I still kill her pretty quickly, and then I get Brood to land pretty immediately. Plus, I managed to get my decoy right inside of Brood there, and so that enables me to get some boar kills on her. Unfortunately, she did glitch out, and she threw down way more baby dragons than she probably should have. Sometimes that happens, but I still somehow make it to boost with my B shield up, and then I absolutely annihilate boost. And so now we have 3 dragons done, probably in the quickest amount of time that I managed to get any the first 3 dragons done. And then I throw on my shock bone of the ancients. Now I take a moment here to grab a critical hit or 2 off of those baby dragons so that they cannot bother me while I fight Incinerator. Now, unfortunately, Incinerator lights this panel on fire, and that depletes my B shield momentarily before he is vulnerable again. And that's a real shame, because if I would have had that a little bit earlier, perhaps we could have done more damage. But as you can see, I still managed to do quite a bit of damage to him there. I just had to wait till he was all the way done with his fire spin. But that's alright. Fire spin's a Pokemon move. I guess that's what you'd call that move. But as you can see there, 1:23. It couldn't go much better than that. That is a nearly perfect run. That, you know, very, very, very close to perfect. And I'm pretty happy with that time, and I just wanted to share some of these kills with you guys. So I do go ahead and show my gear and skill build here. If you have any questions on any of the strategies I employed or why I did certain things, go ahead and let me know in the comments, and I'll try to answer those particular questions for you. We'll go ahead and look at this loot pile here. If I remember correctly, there's nothing spectacular in this loot pile, which is a shame. You would like for your best time to have a really cool drop, but this one didn't. It did have a shock omen, but not the best part shock omen, that's for certain. And either way, you know, the dragons are just a pretty fun raid boss to fight, and I do enjoy going up against them and stuff. So, as always, guys, I do thank you very much for watching. If you haven't yet taken the time to subscribe, please do so. I'd really appreciate that. Otherwise, I do hope to catch you next time. Bye, guys.